Respect is not given lightly. It is earned, maintained, and protected. And yet, most people fail to notice the subtle signals that indicate they are losing it until it's too late. There is an invisible sign, almost imperceptible, that tells you your influence, credibility, and standing are slipping. Recognizing it early is critical because ignoring it allows relationships, opportunities, and reputation to quietly erode. The invisible sign is the shift in attention and responsiveness. People who respect you actively listen, seek your input, and engage consistently. When respect fades, those behaviors diminish. Conversations become one-sided, messages go unanswered, invitations are less frequent, and feedback becomes minimal or dismissive. It is subtle at first, easy to rationalize, but over time it becomes a clear indicator. Respect has declined. One reason this happens is passivity in communication and decision-making. When you stop asserting your boundaries, opinions, or presence, others unconsciously deprioritize you. Respect thrives on visible strength, consistency, and clarity. When these are absent, people begin to take you for granted. The invisible sign appears first as subtle disengagement. Interruptions, dismissive tones, lack of follow-through, or reluctance to involve you in decisions. Another major factor is over-apologizing or excessive deference. Apologizing for every small mistake or deferring to others consistently communicates low self-worth. It signals that your presence, opinions, or contributions are negotiable. People respect those who are confident, decisive, and clear about their boundaries. Excessive concession, even politely intended, slowly erodes the sense of authority others attribute to you. Failing to follow through consistently also signals declining respect. Promises unkept, commitments ignored, or delayed responses communicate unreliability. Human perception is sensitive to patterns. Repeated failures, even minor ones, accumulate and form the perception that you are not dependable. The invisible sign manifests in subtle distance, as people unconsciously invest less in your presence and input. The silent erosion of respect is also fueled by neglecting self-improvement and growth. When people observe stagnation, complacency, or avoidance of challenges, they subconsciously assess your value in social, professional, or personal contexts. Progress signals competence, energy, and relevance. Stagnation signals decline, even if your behavior appears unchanged on the surface. The invisible sign appears as reduced attention, diminished influence, and subtle exclusion from conversations and decisions. Energy and body language play a crucial role. Slouched posture, lack of eye contact, hesitant speech, or low engagement subconsciously communicate low presence. Respect is tied to perception, and perception is informed by energy. Even small nonverbal cues send powerful signals. When you lose the projection of confidence, people unconsciously adjust their level of regard. A lack of assertiveness in critical moments accelerates the decline of respect. Avoiding confrontation, failing to voice opinions, or yielding unnecessarily in negotiations communicates passivity. Respect thrives on clarity and decisiveness. Hesitation in situations that demand action signals weakness and subtly encourages others to disregard your influence. The invisible sign often appears as the quietness in meetings, the absence of input in group decisions, or reluctance from others to rely on your judgment. Self-respect is inseparable from external respect. When you allow yourself to be compromised, undermined, or devalued repeatedly, others mirror that perception. Boundaries matter. Maintaining them consistently communicates worthiness. Ignoring them, even occasionally, invites erosion. The invisible sign appears not in overt rejection, but in subtle shifts. Fewer opportunities, diminished attention, or reluctance to collaborate. The key to reversing this silent decline is awareness. Observe interactions closely. Notice changes in engagement, responsiveness, and tone. Look for patterns rather than isolated events. The invisible sign is not a single behavior, but a cumulative signal of shifting perception. Awareness is the first step to reclaiming respect. Next is intentional action. Assert yourself when appropriate. Communicate boundaries clearly. Follow through on commitments consistently. Speak with confidence and presence. Small, deliberate actions compound over time, signaling renewed value, reliability, and authority. When you respond decisively to the invisible sign, it reverses the perception before it solidifies. Another critical approach is self-investment. Strengthen skills, cultivate knowledge, and develop personal growth. Respect is tied to competence, relevance, and contribution. Demonstrating ongoing growth communicates strength and energy, reversing the subtle erosion caused by stagnation. People naturally recalibrate their attention and regard when they witness deliberate self-improvement. Consistency is vital. Respect is not rebuilt overnight. Each interaction, each decision, each boundary reinforced contributes to a cumulative signal: you are reliable, present, and worthy of regard. Conversely, inconsistency prolongs the erosion. The invisible sign persists until decisive, consistent action is taken. Nonverbal cues reinforce perception. Posture, eye contact, tone, and energy collectively communicate confidence and self-respect. People interpret these cues subconsciously. Attention, engagement, and responsiveness naturally align with those who project strength. Subtle adjustments in nonverbal communication can accelerate restoration of respect. Finally, embrace accountability and integrity. Owning mistakes openly and making corrections demonstrates reliability and maturity. Integrity is noticed even when unspoken. It reinforces respect by aligning actions with values, reducing the risk of subtle disengagement or subconscious disregard. The invisible sign that you've lost respect may feel ambiguous, confusing, or easy to ignore, but it is always present. It manifests in subtle disengagement, diminished attention, and reluctance to include you in decisions or interactions. Recognizing it early allows you to act before it escalates into overt disregard or exclusion. Acting on the invisible sign requires courage, awareness, and deliberate choice. Strengthen presence, enforce boundaries, maintain consistency, communicate assertively, invest in self-growth, and uphold integrity. Over time, these behaviors restore attention, engagement, and respect, reversing subtle erosion before it becomes irreversible. Remember, respect is a reflection of perception, and perception is influenced by consistent, deliberate behavior. Losing it silently is common. Reclaiming it intentionally is a choice. By recognizing the invisible signs and responding decisively, you transform how others see, treat, and value you. The ultimate truth is this: respect is never owed. It is silently earned and quietly maintained. Observe the invisible signs, act with awareness, and project consistent value. The moment you stop ignoring the subtle cues, you regain influence, presence, and authority in every relationship and context. Because the key is simple: the invisible sign is a signal, not a sentence. Recognize it, respond intentionally, and watch respect return, not loudly, but powerfully.